I am Philip, am sitting in my home office, watching my ex, fiance, Willow, 28, blow up my phone with increasingly unhinged voicemails. Why? Because she just found out I canceled our $85,000 wedding that was supposed to happen in 4 months. Let me rewind to 6 weeks ago. Willow and I, Philip, got engaged last year after dating for 3 years. 3 pretty great years, I'll admit. She's charming, ambitious in a Pinterest board meets Instagram filter kind of way, and a genuinely good person underneath the curated captions and perfectly angled oat milk lattes. Me? I run a small tech consulting firm. Nothing flashy, no Teslas in the driveway or champagne fountains in the bathroom, but I do okay. Comfortable, responsible adult money. The kind of money that lets you order guac without guilt. Willow, on the other hand, is a lifestyle blogger/influencer. About 40,000 followers. Her content is a mix of beige aesthetics, quotes about romanticizing your life, and unboxing candles that cost more than my electric bill. She pulls in maybe $30K a year from brand deals, affiliate links, and convincing people that drinking rosehip tea at golden hour will solve their generational trauma. When we got engaged, Willow morphed into a full-time wedding general. Not planner, general. Airdropping Pinterest boards, coordinating mood meetings, and saying things like, I need the flowers to feel like they're whispering poetry. She wasn't planning a wedding. She was producing a 4-act period drama. Historic estate venue? Booked. $15,000 for catering? Obviously. For 250 guests, by the way. Who are these people? I don't even know 250 people I like, let alone want to feed foie gras to. Flowers, $30,000. I didn't even know you could do that with flowers. What are they trained to dance? Photographer and videographer, $8,000. Her dress, $12,000. Live band, $10,000. Apparently, iTunes and a Bluetooth speaker are for peasants. It went on, and on, and on. I smiled through it, because I loved her, and because whatever makes you happy is the sort of thing you say when you think your wallet has a spine. Spoiler, it doesn't. Then one day, I'm at this barbecue my buddy Jamie's throwing. He's a lawyer, one of those cynical, deadpan types who can spot a clause in a casual conversation. Mid-burger, he pulls me aside like he's about to tell me I have a terminal illness. Yo, he says, you getting a prenup? I blink. Hadn't really thought about it. He gives me the look. You know, the look lawyers give you right before telling you you're legally obligated to live in a cardboard box if you don't listen. Dude, you own a business. You need one. It's not even about Willow. Hell, it's barely about you. You've got investors, partners, a whole infrastructure. If this marriage goes belly up, you don't just lose half your couch. You could be putting other people's livelihoods at risk. It's not a prenup for you. It's a prenup for your business. Protect your company like you protect your Netflix password. I nodded, chewing slowly, realizing this burger might be the last thing I could afford if things went sideways. So, I brought it up that night casually. I said, hey, my business partner suggested we should probably do a prenup. Standard stuff for business owners. The temperature in the room dropped. I swear I could see my breath. She froze mid-scroll, locked eyes with me, and said, excuse me. I said, just to protect the business. Nothing crazy. Her face tightened. You think I'm a gold digger? I said no, it's just standard. My partners explained it's not even about me. It's about the company. The investors, the partners. If you loved me, you'd trust me. I do trust you. This is just legal protection. It's not personal. She snapped. I'll sign a prenup when Lucifer apologizes and gets his job back in heaven. I blinked. Willow, be reasonable. You be reasonable, she shot back. We're supposed to be partners. I agree. Which is why I think a fair agreement beforehand helps. What's yours is mine, she said, arms crossed. So, I bring my company to the table. What are you bringing in? I asked, because I'm not a complete idiot. She threw up her hands. Don't be ridiculous. You know I don't have money like you. I snapped. So, what's mine is ours, but what's yours is yours. That's rich. You're twisting things, she said. She turned her back, stomping down the hallway, yelling over her shoulder. God, why are you being so cheap? And just like that, she stormed off, barefoot and furious, like I'd just suggested an Aldi wedding. I figured she needed time to cool down. Nope. The next day, she'd launched a PR campaign so swift, it'd make a politician weep. Her entire family knew by brunch. Her mom, Linda, let me paint you a picture. Imagine a rhinestone-encrusted bullhorn with a thinning hairline she pretends isn't happening. A face stretched tighter than my budget after the florist quote. Thanks to bi-weekly Botox, and breast implants so aggressive they enter a room before she even finishes parking the car. That woman called me directly, voice trembling with theatrical rage. How dare you insult my daughter like this? I said, I asked for a standard prenup. That's not an insult. She's giving you the best years of her life. She's 28, not 80. And I'm giving her mine too. A real man doesn't need contracts with his wife. A smart person protects their assets. Click. She hung up on me. That evening, Willow came back home, acting like absolutely nothing had happened. She started showing me centerpiece options. Do you like the roses or the peonies better? She asked, holding up two nearly identical photos like we were choosing between life and death. I said, we need to resolve the prenup thing first. She didn't even blink. There's nothing to resolve. I'm not signing it. Now, roses or peonies? Willow, I said, I'm serious. So am I, she said, all sugar and threat. Drop it, or there won't be a wedding. She smiled and looked at me. So, tell me peonies or roses? I shrugged and said, sure, whatever you want. She smiled like she'd just negotiated world peace, completely unaware I was smiling too, for a very different reason. Then she started rambling about napkin colors and chair sashes like nothing had happened, as if a full-on financial hostage negotiation hadn't just occurred at the kitchen island over an overpriced bridal magazine. I smiled and nodded. But that night, as she drifted off dreaming of ivory lace and curated hashtags, I lay there wide awake. Not mad, not sad, just clear, crystal clear, like Monk on a mountain clarity. And then I had sex with her like it was my last day on Earth. Like the asteroid was visible in the sky and NASA had already packed up and gone home. It was doomsday sex with an expiration date. Like the season finale of a toxic relationship, passionate, confusing, and sponsored by emotional whiplash. She whispered, wow, what got into you tonight? I almost said clarity, but instead I kissed her forehead and said, just feeling grateful. Which wasn't a lie. I was grateful that the next morning, I knew exactly what I had to do. First thing, I started making calls. Not the dramatic, cancel everything and burn the dress kind of calls. These were quiet, methodical, spreadsheet core calls. Practical, clean. I called the venue and said, hey, I need to cancel. Irreconcilable differences have emerged. They barely blinked. The coordinator actually sighed and said, oh, one of those. Yeah, happens more than you'd think. I got 60% of my deposit back because, lucky me, we were still over 120 days out. Silver linings, baby. Next up, the caterer. Same line, same tone. Got 50% back. Apparently, foie gras for 250 people isn't a hot resale item, but they were chill. The photographer, Hero, said he'd already booked another wedding that date for a higher rate and actually refunded me in full. No hard feelings, man. You dodged something, he added. The band, the florist, the horse-drawn carriage she wanted for the grand exit. One by one, I canceled everything. Quietly, cleanly. Did I tell Willow? Absolutely not. Did I tell anyone? Just Trevor, my best friend, my sounding board, my designated co-pilot in this madness. He said, dude, you're either a genius or a lunatic. I said, there's a fine line, and I'm dancing on it. Meanwhile, Willow was in full bridezilla mode. She'd created an entire wedding Instagram account. Posted daily. Becoming Mrs. Can't wait to marry my provider, partner. LOL. Yeah, that post told me everything I needed to know. That little Freudian slip might as well have been in neon. She still brought up the prenup occasionally, passive-aggressively, like it was a phase I'd grow out of. Once, while scrolling through fabric swatches, she looked up and said, you know, if you drop this prenup nonsense, I might consider having your groomsman Trevor in the wedding party. I looked at her and said, Trevor is already in the wedding party. He's my best man. Well, I think my cousin Lincoln would be better. That's what she said, dead serious. As if she were making a helpful suggestion and not trying to replace my best friend with a man who once wore white linen pants to a funeral. Trevor is so rough around the edges. Translation, Trevor owns a construction company, drives a truck that actually has dirt in it, and didn't go to brunch school. In other words, she's embarrassed. I said, Trevor is my best man. Non-negotiable. She actually laughed. Everything's negotiable. Except that stupid prenup. Crystal clear. About 2 weeks in, she started getting twitchy, suspicious even, that I wasn't foaming at the mouth about wedding logistics. Like I wasn't sprinting to pick out charger plates and comparing satin swatches like a desperate contestant on Say Yes to the Stress. She walked into the living room, hands on hips, fresh from her third online order of decorative candles shaped like swans. You haven't asked about the menu tasting, she said. I looked up from my laptop. You said you had it handled. Yes, but you usually have opinions. And you usually ignore them, I said, sipping my coffee. So I figured I'd save us both time. Her eyes narrowed. Are you pouting about the prenup? Pouting? No. You were very clear. When hell freezes over, remember? Exactly, she snapped. So stop sulking. I'm not sulking, I said, flipping the page on a magazine I wasn't reading. I'm respecting your position. She squinted at me like a raccoon caught sniffing around the trash, suspicious, twitchy, and one wrong move away from chaos. But eventually, she dropped it and went back to posting a photo of wedding shoes that cost more than a studio apartment in Cleveland. Not even a good one. One with exposed pipes and a toilet that wheezes when you flush. Now, all this while, I was still having sex with her. Enthusiastically. Frequently. Like a man determined to get his security deposit back in a very unconventional way. Look, I had sunk thousands into that wedding already. And if I wasn't going to see the peony centerpieces or the 5-tier cake shaped like a castle, I was at least going to get something for my investment. It wasn't lovemaking, it was value extraction. I was like a gym member who knew the contract was expiring and hit every machine twice a day. She thought I was being affectionate. I was just amortizing the damage. She'd say, "Wow, you've been so into me lately." And I'd reply, "Just trying to be present." In my head, I was calculating cost per thrust. Then the vendor call started. The florist called while she was at Pilates, left a voicemail about the cancellation and the refund amount. She never checked it. Too busy cantering her mind, which I think means lying on a yoga mat and scrolling TikTok. The videographer sent an email confirmation about the cancellation. She didn't see that either. That's a boy job, she once told me, actual quote. Emails are for boys. I'm the vision. Right. A vision with a terrible grasp of Google Calendar. I knew it was only a matter of time before she pieced it together. The bomb dropped on a Thursday. Willow's maid of honor, Elena, was over that day for another one of their exhausting Pinterest planning, mimosa-fueled wedding marathons. They'd taken over the dining room with swatches, binders, and the kind of decorative pens that exist solely to make you hate writing things. They were going through the checklist like it was a nuclear launch sequence, and I was in my home office, pretending to work, but mostly just eavesdropping because I knew we were nearing the cliff. Then I heard it. Elena said, "Hey, why don't we call the venue and ask about the vegetarian menu options?" I froze. Popcorn-worthy stuff incoming. Willow's voice, sweet and oblivious. "Great idea, hand me my phone." Speakerphone. Bless Elena and her love of speakerphone. Ring. Ring. "Hello, Bellwood Estate. How can I help you?" "This is Willow," she said brightly. "I'm calling to go over our wedding menu options." Pause. "I'm sorry," the woman said, polite but confused. "There must be a mix-up. That wedding was canceled 3 weeks ago." I heard Elena gasp. I sipped my coffee. Willow's tone went from sweet bride to executive meltdown in under 2 seconds. "What? That's impossible." Mr. Miller called personally. The venue woman continued. "We processed the partial refund already." "Put it back," Willow snapped. "Book it again." "I'm sorry," the woman said, sounding like she needed a raise. "That date has already been rebooked. We do have availability next year." Click. And then it happened. The shriek. A banshee-level, throat-shredding shriek that probably set off car alarms 3 blocks away. Dogs barked. Birds scattered. Somewhere, a seismologist checked his data and said, "What the hell was that?" She stomped toward my office like Godzilla in yoga pants. "What did you do?" she screamed. I stepped out calmly, mug still in hand, like I was just passing through on my way to inner peace. "I canceled the wedding," I said. "You can't do that." "Actually, I already did," I replied, sipping casually. "I'm the one who paid for everything." "This is insane. The wedding is in 4 months. Was in 4 months, I corrected. Past tense. "You canceled my wedding." "Our wedding," I said, "which you told me wouldn't happen without a prenup." "So, I respected that." "I didn't mean literally." "You literally said, 'Drop it or there won't be a wedding.'" "That's not what I meant." I tilted my head. "What did you mean then?" She floundered. I meant. "You meant," I said. "You wanted me to shut up and pay for everything while you refused a basic legal protection." I set my mug down on the counter. "You can't just cancel someone's dream wedding," Willow shrieked, mascara flaking like volcanic ash. I said, "I can cancel an event I'm paying for." Yes, I can." She was now pacing the living room, phone in hand, checking her emails with frantic, post-apocalyptic energy, like she'd just realized the rapture happened and she wasn't invited. Then came the gasps. "The photographer, the band, you canceled everything." I said, "Yep. Got decent refunds too. That prenup's looking pretty reasonable now, huh?" She narrowed her eyes. "This is blackmail." "No, Willow. This is consequences. You said no prenup, no wedding." I agreed. "I'll sue you." "For what?" I said. "Canceling vendors I paid?" She started crying. Not the gentle, rom-com tears that cue a hug. No, these were rage tears. Hot, vengeful tears. She looked like she wanted to both throw a vase and update her followers at the same time. My dress, she snapped. What about my dress? I shrugged. Still yours. I didn't pay for that one. Your dad did. She clutched her forehead like I'd just canceled Christmas. The invitations went out. You mean the digital save the dates? Easy. I'll just send a mass update. No prenup, wedding canceled. What will people think? I said. They'll think we're not getting married. Which is accurate. You're a monster, she hissed. No, I said calmly. I'm a guy who was told his partner would rather have no wedding than sign a prenup. So I listened. Her voice dropped low. We're going to fix this. Call everyone back. Book new vendors. With what money? I asked. Your money? The $30 a year lifestyle blog budget. She didn't blink. I have access to your accounts. I smiled. Not anymore. That money in my account belongs to me and to me only, and I'm not paying for another wedding without a prenup. Then I'll pay for it with my own money. Awesome, I said. So, how do you want to pay? Cash or credit card? My family will help, she snapped. You mean the same family that called me financially abusive for wanting a prenup? Yeah, can't wait to see their contribution. That night, Willow moved back to her parents' house. Not because I kicked her out, I wouldn't. I'm not that guy. She just couldn't look at my face without seeing the ghost of a wedding that almost was. The next 72 hours were educational. First came the family assault. Her dad, Jason, called me like he'd just finished binge-watching some budget courtroom drama and thought he was delivering a closing argument. You humiliated my baby girl, he bellowed, like I'd just kicked Bambi in the face. I put him on speaker, leaned back in my chair, and sipped my coffee. She humiliated herself by being unreasonable, I replied. But sure, let's blame the guy asking for basic legal protection. A prenup is insulting, he thundered. To who? I asked. To your daughter or your retirement plan? He sputtered. You're implying we're mooching? Oh, not implying. Flat out saying. You don't talk to me that way. Then hang up, Jason. I'm not the one begging for a refund on a daughter who thought, what's mine is mine, and what's yours is also mine sounded romantic. There was silence. Then, you just threw away her dream wedding. No, I said. I saved us both from a very expensive hostage situation. And now I don't have money to waste. You're lying. You have money. Had past tense, I said. Crazy how fast 85K disappears when you're cleaning up someone else's delusion. He inhaled sharply. I pictured him clutching his pearls. You think this is funny? No, Jason. I think you thinking you could shame me into funding your daughter's tantrum parade is funny. What's next? A GoFundMe titled, Help Willow Avoid Legal Paperwork. You ungrateful bastard. Oh please, I cut in. The only gratitude I owe is to myself, for not tying my life savings to a woman who throws a fit over a contract but thinks a $9,000 floral arch is non-negotiable. He went quiet. I smiled. That's when I hit him with the final line, but don't worry. I got back about $40K in refunds. I was lying, obviously, but he didn't need to know that. Then came the flying monkeys, her friends, her cousins, people I swear she met once at a Pilates retreat, all of them suddenly experts in ethics and economics, flooding my inbox. How could you? She loved you. This is financial abuse. You destroyed her dream. Small wiener energy. That last one actually made me laugh. I stared at it for a second, debated responding with, and yet, she never complained while I was paying for her future in installments. But no, I stayed classy. Read every message. Responded to exactly none. But here's where it gets good. Willow launched a GoFundMe. I wish I were joking. Title, Help Me Save My Dream Wedding After Financial Abuse. Yep, real subtle. The description? Oh, it was a masterpiece of revisionist fiction. According to her, sprang a prenup on her weeks before the wedding. It was 4 months. 4. She had more than enough time to read it, negotiate it, or at the very least Google, what is a prenup, without using baby talk. Canceled everything without warning. 3 weeks of her flat-out refusing to discuss it. I practically gave her a calendar and a countdown clock. Held the wedding hostage. Well, that part's actually true. And the ransom note read, sign the prenup or no $9,000 hydrangea wall for your Instagram grid. She wrote that she was devastated, traumatized, financially trapped, all while still posting selfies in full glam with captions like healing one iced latte at a time #bride vibes. Goal, $50,000. Raised in 3 days, $1,247. Mostly from her mom and her aunt who still calls me Philly Bear. But the comments? Oh my God, the comments were savage. Maybe just sign the prenup? Why should we pay for your wedding? This is what happens when you marry for money. Team groom. And then someone, I don't know who, but I want to buy them a steak dinner. Posted screenshots of her provider, her partner post. Willow deleted the whole thing. Then came the negotiation attempt. She showed up at my place flanked by both parents like it was a hostage exchange. Willow in full passive-aggressive regalia, tight smile, arms crossed, probably rehearsed in front of a mirror, and her dad looking like he'd just walked out of a retirement-themed mob movie. Okay, Willow began, like she was granting me audience. Let's talk. Talk, I said. Sure, let's. I'll consider a prenup, she said, emphasizing consider like it was a charitable act. But I have conditions. I leaned back. I'm listening. 1. It expires after 5 years. I actually laughed. You mean like milk? No, she snapped. You didn't let me finish. Oh, great. There's more. 2. I get the house if we divorce. The house I bought. Before I met you. It'll be our home, she snapped. No, I cut in. That's not how this works. 3. She said, like this was a hostage demand and not complete lunacy. I get a monthly allowance. $10,000. Allowance? I blinked. Shut up, bitch, what are you? My wife or my child? Her mother gasped like I'd just slapped her with a checkbook. She has standards. And I have math, I said. 10 grand a month? Willow, for that kind of money, I could hire a private chef, a personal assistant, and a woman who's better in bed and won't fake a headache every Thursday. Willow's mouth dropped open. Actually, I added, I could hire 3 of them and still have money left over for wine and noise-canceling headphones. Her dad turned red. Her mom looked like I'd just insulted the royal family. Willow? She just stared at me like I'd spoken in tongues. Original prenup, I said calmly. Or no wedding. Willow's dad stepped in now, trying to summon gravitas through a comb-over. Be reasonable, son. I am, I said. Your daughter isn't. Willow crossed her arms tighter. Fine. I'll sign your stupid basic prenup. Great, I said, smiling. I'll have my lawyer draw it up. Then you'll rebook everything. No, she said. What? I'll book a wedding. But not the wedding. I raised an eyebrow. Define the difference. I want a 50-guest event. Nice restaurant. Classy small. She looked at me like I'd offered her a Tupperware party. That's not my dream wedding. Your dream wedding was contingent on no prenup? I reminded her. You want a prenup? Then it's a different wedding. This is manipulation, she snapped. No, I said. This is budgeting. I'm not dropping another $85,000 after this circus. Then I'm not signing. Okay. No wedding. You're bluffing. Try me. They left in a dramatic flurry of designer cologne and entitlement. But not before Jason, her dad, the human cigar, muttered something under his breath. I know people who could handle this guy. I stared at him. Jason, I know people who could turn you into soup. So shut up and go sell insurance. And after that stellar performance, Willow did what any modern woman with no argument and a ringless finger would do. She went nuclear. Cue the sob story on Instagram. According to Willow's tear-stained novella, I had destroyed her dreams and was financially controlling. She even tagged me, because nothing says mature conflict resolution like turning your engagement into a public service announcement for delusion. So I responded, not with a vague subtweet or a passive-aggressive quote about setting boundaries. Nah, I went full documentary. Exhibit A, screenshots of her texts, her calling me a walking ATM, her saying, what's yours is mine, followed by a string of heart emojis and a request for a Louis Vuitton bag. Exhibit B, her partner, her words, not mine, posting a GoFundMe for the abused bride, trying to recover from a 4-month engagement, which she conveniently downgraded to a few weeks for narrative flair. Exhibit C, a now-deleted Instagram story where she literally said, can't wait to marry my personal money machine. Caption, interesting definition of financial abuse. Her followers turned on her faster than she turned on the prenup. Apparently, a lot of them remembered that story. The comments were brutal, but fair. Girl, you played yourself. Just sign the prenup then. Damn, imagine fumbling a whole man over paperwork. She went full damage control, deleted the posts, went private, probably cried into a monogrammed pillow. But the real karma? That came from an unexpected source. Her ex, Matthew. He is a dentist. Yeah, he slid into my DMs like we were old war buddies. Said he had some tea. I braced myself, expecting some awkward bro code nonsense. Instead, this man came with files. Turns out, she'd pulled the same stunt on him. Wanted her name on his dental practice, after 8 months of dating. He said no. She threatened to leave. He called her bluff. She left. 2 weeks later, she tried to come back, said she'd had an epiphany about love and teeth and sharing futures. He ghosted her so hard, she probably still thinks he's on a silent retreat in Sedona. He told me. She said I was abusive too. Controlling. Because I wouldn't make her a co-owner of my clinic. That she never even worked at. We actually met up for beers. Cool dude. Married now to an orthodontist who, wait for it, insisted on a prenup herself. They laughed about Willow over nachos. Then came the final act. A long, unhinged text from Willow at 2 a.m. I hope you're happy. You ruined everything. I loved you, and you threw it away over money. I was going to give you beautiful kids and a perfect life, but you chose paper over love. Elena says you're probably gay anyway. Have fun dying alone with your precious business. P.S. I'm keeping the ring. So I responded, the ring I bought with my money? The one you refused to protect with a prenup? Bold choice. Also, it's insured and reported as stolen property now. Enjoy explaining that to the pawn shop. She mailed it back the next day. No note. Just bubble wrap and vibes. Current status? Single. And thriving, honestly. Kept my business. Kept my house. Kept my self-respect. Used a chunk of the wedding refund money. Yeah, refund. Turns out catering deposits are negotiable if you cry hard enough on the phone for a sick home theater setup. Dolby Atmos, 120-inch screen, the whole package. It's basically a bachelor cave with popcorn capabilities. Meanwhile, Willow, living with her parents. Yup. After the whole Instagram circus imploded, she tried a GoFundMe sequel. Round 2 of Help Me Rebuild My Life After My Rich Ex Refused to Be Emotionally Manipulated by My Vibrational Worth. It raised, wait for it, $37. And I'm pretty sure 2 of those donations were from burner accounts she made herself. Not to be deterred, she posted about empowering women through financial literacy. This, from the same woman who thought a prenup was just something poor people do to stay poor. Last I heard, she's dating some crypto bro who drives a leased BMW and uses alpha energy, unironically in his Instagram captions. I wish them the best. No, I don't. But I do wish them karma. Her family still texts me occasionally. You know, just light emotional terrorism. Stuff like, you ruined her life, or real men take care of their wives without asking for contracts. Blocked most of them, except her cousin who accidentally sent me a meme once and then apologized for the family. Good dude. But Willow. Oh, she got creative. Somehow found my work email. Yes, the professional one I used to send client invoices. Sent me a full-blown manifesto. Subject line, real men provide without conditions. Paragraphs upon paragraphs of pseudo-poetic nonsense about how I was supposed to be her provider, protector, and permanent retirement plan. I didn't even respond. Just forwarded it to my lawyer with the note. Just in case she escalates to carrier pigeons or skywriting. So yeah, funny how life works. Fast forward a year after the great prenup debacle of Willowgate, and I'm standing at the altar next to an actual grown adult. Her name's Jenna, financial analyst. Wicked sense of humor. Could calculate compound interest faster than most people can microwave popcorn. We had open conversations about money, values, and, of course, a prenup. No drama. No emotional blackmail. No, if you loved me, you'd sign over your 401k. Just, we protect each other. That's what a partnership is. I swear, I fell in love with her all over again when she said that, pen in hand, flipping casually through the document like it was a brunch menu. The wedding? Simple, elegant, cost a fraction of what the Willow extravaganza was supposed to. No rented swans. No monogrammed cocktail ice. Just close friends, family, vows we actually meant, and a cake that didn't need a second mortgage. We flew off to Santorini for the honeymoon. Yeah, white buildings, blue roofs, endless wine. I finally got to sit on a balcony in a linen shirt, drink ouzo, and post thirst trap level vacation photos without someone asking if I was manifesting enough luxury energy. And yes, we posted the photos. Jenna captioned one of them, when your husband is smarter than your ex's entire family tree #prenuphonimon. We thought nothing of it. Until, surprise, surprise, Willow popped up in the comments like a cockroach that survived a nuclear winter. On a picture of us standing on a cliff at sunset, me kissing Jenna's forehead, Willow commented, "This is what you call settling? Sad. Hope your little contract keeps you warm at night. Real love doesn't come with legal terms." I was about to delete it, but Jenna beat me to it, with a reply so elegant I considered framing it. She wrote, "Thank you, Willow. If you hadn't been so stunningly stupid, I never would have met this incredible man. Your loss is my honeymoon." I choked on my wine. Literal spit take. She even added a winking emoji. Iconic. Willow never replied. Probably threw a crystal at her phone and staged an emergency chakra realignment. But I know she saw it. And so did her cousin, who DM'd me a laughing gif and said, "Your wife is savage. Congrats, man." I looked over at Jenna, glowing in the Santorini sunset, sipping a cocktail like she owned the place. And I thought, this is what peace feels like. No drama. No gold digging. Just love, with legally binding documents to back it up. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.